Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I would talk about something pretty serious that I've been thinking about, and that is my biggest fear about physical media in 2023. Let me just give you some of my thoughts here, and because I have a few fears around physical media. Obviously I have this collection of physical media and movies which I absolutely love. Love being by my shelves, love picking movies that I want to see, especially if they're not on a streaming service. But I think as the streaming services begin to grow, I'm starting to see many more titles disappear, and I'll give you one example. On HBO, for example, we're really enjoying Westworld, and due to some issues with licensing and contracts and et cetera, HBO decided to pull that off. Now you can still buy seasons of Westworld, but if you're not a physical media collector, you basically can't really watch that show anymore because you have to buy the physical media for it. And that's just one example. One of the other examples on HBO specifically too, and I do have the streaming service, is that one of my favorite shows is High Maintenance, which started off as a very small show with very short videos, but then HBO picked it up and decided to do full-length episodes. I really enjoyed that. My wife and I really enjoyed watching that. And it's on HBO still, so you can still watch it, but you can't really get a physical media copy, at least I haven't found any, for that particular show. So those types of situations I feel like are happening more and more these days with streaming services and contracts expiring, or companies not wanting to pay for certain shows to continue to be on services. I know HBO also had an issue last year where they started to announce that their TCM service, they have a TCM hub on the HBO streaming service, might go away, and a lot of people were concerned about that. I check that just about every day, and TCM's still up there. They still have titles up there, so hopefully, I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet, which I'm very thankful about. So that's one of my fears, is that these shows will disappear and you will not be able to get them on physical media anymore. So I feel like, especially with Westworld, I started to look at prices and started to think about maybe purchasing that show, and I'm still not sure if I want to do that, considering that I have a lot of other movies and shows that I like, probably even more. So the other fear that I have, and this reminds me of a Twilight Zone episode with Burgess Meredith, where, please correct me if I'm wrong if I don't get this right, but I feel like the episode it's the end of the world, or close to the end of the world, and Burgess Meredith is a character in the Twilight Zone episode that loves to read a lot, and so he realizes he's pretty much alone at the at the end of the world, or there's been an apocalypse or something like that. And he's got all these books he wants to read. He's very excited about reading them, and then he breaks his glasses. So I feel like that's an issue as well, along with maybe not having electricity to watch all these movies, which you wouldn't be able to do with streaming services anyway. So that's another kind of a fear too, as we're maybe not having the services that we need to have all the time, like electricity available all the time, which again applies to streaming services, and I get that absolutely. But it is something that I think about, even to the point of thinking maybe I should get a generator so that I can watch a movie if I need to, as well as run other things. The other thing too, I feel like this video is a bit of a ramble, but I hear some physical media collectors talking about checking the discs for corrosion. And so I just picked up this random one here that I thought I would check today. This is The Lady Vanishes from Criterion, the Alfred Hitchcock movie. And randomly I look at these discs to see if I can see any flaws in them. I don't really see anything, here. But who knows? When I go to put on this movie next, if there's a certain level of corrosion, I don't know if this necessarily will play. It probably will, and these discs will probably last for quite a long time. But will I always be able to see The Lady Vanishes on a streaming service? Maybe not. Criterion has an amazing channel with lots of different titles, lots of Alfred Hitchcock, but sometimes they remove those and rotate those particular titles. So this one may not always be available on a streaming service that I can watch or maybe even buy. Some titles, when I look on Amazon, are not even available to buy anymore. So then you have to try to go search for those things. And as a movie lover, it can be a little bit frustrating. And I thought I'd just pick another title from my collection too, just again, randomly checking these. This is War of the Worlds, Steven Spielberg version of War of the Worlds, and I'll just take a look at this one randomly too. And again, you just kind of randomly look at these things just to see if there's anything that might be on them. But this one looks pretty good. Now I have to put it in probably to tell whether it's actually going to play or not. I'm sure it will, but again, I'm talking about some of my fears about physical media. The other thing, and I really want to get into my biggest fear about physical media in 2023, and that is the availability of, I will tell you what it is, it's the availability of players. Having the player, I've talked about this on a live stream as well, having enough players and the right players to play different things. I did a video where I talked about my region-free Blu-ray player, which I'll link in the description below, that I picked up. I have a Sony Blu-ray player as well that's rather old, so I need to upgrade that. But I think to myself, back to the Laserdisc days, I used to have a Laserdisc player. I don't have it anymore, but I do have this copy of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is a Criterion release. And I'm not able to play it on anything anymore. I love having it as an artifact of physical media, but I'm not able to play this. Now, I've been searching around for Laserdisc players so that I can maybe, as people start to unload their physical media, maybe I'll find some Laserdiscs out there, and I would love to have more of a collection of Laserdiscs, believe it or not. Just because I enjoy looking at the back. There's a big description on here, chapter titles, etc. So it would be nice to have some of those things. But again, I don't have a player for this. I have a VHS player, which may or may not be working, and I have some VHS types also. But again, those things I think are going to be in maybe, I don't want to say higher demand, because again, so many people are moving to streaming. But for people like me, I would be interested in picking those up. So I feel like I need to have a backup 4K Blu-ray player so that I'm able to play all this physical media that I have whenever I would like to. And that's forgetting about issues with electricity or being able to power those machines. The other thing too is, I think as streaming continues to be more popular, parts for those machines will be harder to find perhaps, or maybe repair shops will not be repairing the machines anymore, or all those types of things come into play there. So as much as I may be worried about other things regarding physical media, my biggest fear right now, and something that stays on my mind, is really having backup players to be able to play these movies as I need to. And of course I have a digital library, and I have some of those things too, which we're not really sure what's going to happen. Is Vudu going to start to charge us for having a digital library, which could very well happen. They haven't done it yet, but it's definitely possible, and definitely something that could happen. So again, I wanted to make this video because it's been on my mind, something I've been thinking about. Let me know in the comments below if you have a fear about your physical media collection, maybe not being able to watch it, maybe not being able to have the right player to watch things anymore. I'm so happy with my region-free player, because at least I can play some of the other titles I have from Arrow and Indicator on that region-free player, which you can't get. Some of these titles you can't get anywhere either, so other than from those companies. One other thing I wanted to mention too, just about 2023, I noticed this year specifically, I've really been watching I've been watching titles from my collection, so rather than purchasing new things. I'm not seeing as many movies and TV that I really want to buy this year so far. So let me know in the comments below if you think there's something that's already come out. Again, I know it's the beginning of the year, that you think is worth a purchase. I am building wish lists on Kino Lorber, on the Kino Lorber site, on Amazon for the Warner Archive titles that are coming out, and I love those. Obviously getting ready for the Criterion sale. Maybe there's a flash sale in February, and of course there's one in the summer. So I'm getting those wish lists ready for those, and I will be purchasing some of those titles. But I'm not seeing a lot of things I really want to purchase at this point in the year. Again, it's early, I know, but let me know in the comments below if you think there's something that's worth picking up at this point, or that you have picked up already. And also let me know if you have a fear about your physical media collection. Are you worried about players, the availability of players? Maybe it's not a big worry, I don't know. But for me, it's been on my mind quite a bit. So thank you so much for watching this video today. I really do appreciate it. If this is your first video on the channel, please consider subscribing. That would be awesome. And as always, I sincerely hope everyone is safe and well, and I'll talk to you soon.